Hello, 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 hello. Um, we are live. I think it's showing live. For anyone joining us, first and foremost, thank you so much for being here. And if we talk over a little bit today, we've got a little bit of delay on the internet. So just to pardon that for anyone that's noticing a little bit delay in the good old technology, good old technology. So I am delighted to be back here today with Chantel from Aquarius Rising Africa 2 and Solutions with Aquarius Rising Africa. Oh, hi, Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us from Texas, nice and early where you are. And we are going to have anyone joining us in the chat, regardless of whether you're joining from Facebook, X, or YouTube. Do say introduce yourself in the chat, because this is going to be an interactive one today. We are going to be talking about something that's so important to all of us, the law of vibration. We're going to be looking at how it fits in and links in with the law of attraction, and how we can really use this understanding and practice this to gain more control, not only over our own individual lives, but also over what we're putting out there to the world as a whole. So, Chantel, how are you doing today?
Hello, lovely Catherine. I'm wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for having me back again. It's always a pleasure to have our Friday shows together. And how was your week, actually? How's it been going with you?
Well, we've had a weird week. I can probably sympathise with you with your load shedding. Because on weekend and Monday, we have really bad storms here in the UK. By the UK standard. And so I had no power and electricity for just over 24 hours, and no water either, which when you've got as many animals as I have to look after, it's no joke. So it's amazing how we take these things for granted. It's like anything, really, in terms of modern day luxuries like water, electricity, health, wealth, whatever it might be in our life. Sometimes we need someone to take them away for us to stop taking them for granted, which I think fits quite nicely into today's subject matter, really.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to the club, because not too long ago, again, also having no water, especially over December, with all of our this part of our country has grown exponentially in the last since COVID, actually, because a lot of people have been decentralizing from the cities and realize they can now work from home, which of course I'm not too happy about. So I think there's just a lot of people arriving here, and really the grid doesn't really support that yet. So we've had to go very slow on water. I mean, there was a day where we didn't have water. And I mean, that for me, fine, take my electricity away. I can actually deal with that, but don't take my water away, So that's also interesting. It's interesting times, I think all of us are experiencing around the world right now, because I think I'm hearing more and more of these stories of, just kind of like having these situations.
Yeah, we're losing you a little bit, but we'll keep going best we can. We've got Carol, we've got Sasha, we've got Kevin, we've got Shannon. I'm so happy to hear your dogs are healthy now, Shannon. So let's get into our subject matter, the law of vibration. So a lot of people have heard of The Secret, and let us know in the chat if you're familiar with the work of The Secret, the law of attraction. But really, Shanti, the law of vibration is sort of primary, and the law of attraction sits within that. So talk us through your understanding of the law of vibration and how important it is to us all right now when we're looking to co-create.
Oh, well, I mean, my whole work for the past 20 plus years has been about frequency, sound, and vibration. I've always, and it's just amazing for me now, I have to say, that more and more people understand that is such an important part of our existence. In fact, it is our existence. Your body is a resonance chamber. And you're created from sound, frequency, and vibration. So every particle, every molecule, whether it's standing still, whether it's moving, has a vibration in its, of its own that is unique to each and every person. Vibration is everything. I mean, the birds outside have their vibration. I have my vibration. You have your vibration. And it's almost like a fingerprint that is unique to you. And of course, your emotions, your thoughts, your experiences are literally what put out your vibration. So when you are feeling in low vibration, in other words, you angry, you're sad, you're feeling miserable, your whole frequency and vibration lowers, right? And then law of attraction states energy is always going to attract its same vibration. So naturally, when you're in that lower frequency, you're going to be attracting life experiences that match that. And when you're in a higher frequency, in other words, joyful, happy, connected, at peace, at ease, you're going to be attracting people, situations, experiences that match that as well. I think we're in this place now where this kind of talk is no longer new age talk. I mean, this is life. This is the essence of who we are. I've been accused of being new age for so long because this is the language I speak. But it's got nothing to do with new age. If you go back to the ancient texts, the scriptural texts, they will tell you exactly the same thing, but in different words, right? So they're telling you in a different words what law of attraction is and all of these things. But, they don't call it law of attraction. Nowadays, we might call it that, but it's got nothing to do with new age. It's language that we've adapted to the modern day. It's modern day language. It's ancient wisdom, and we're using modern day language because in the last 2,000 or 3,000 years, we've evolved quite a bit, right? So our language has evolved. The way we think has evolved as well. So when we understand frequency, sound, and vibration, firstly, the universe was created from sound, right? Which sets off a frequency or vibration and a frequency. They're interchangeable. So your body is a resonance chamber, and your thoughts, your emotions, your ideas, everything about you sets off a vibration. And that's the one thing that never ever lies. That's your energy. It never ever lies. So whatever you can be wearing Versace suits and Jimmy shoes and looking the part and waltzing down London streets and, whatever it might be, thinking that you're the bee's knees. But at the end of the day, whatever it is you're putting out there is what you're going to be attracting into your life. And that, of course, is all about our relationships, personal development. I mean, if you're looking at developing personally, if you're in a lower vibration, you're not going to develop personally. You got to decide to raise your vibration, to decide to see the good in life, to decide that everything in life is actually an opportunity to learn and to grow. And when we get to that place, everything starts changing. It doesn't say it's easy. It doesn't say you never have a negative experience again.
No, we're all human and we're all learning through that. And I think one of the things that I see happen all the time is people saying, so the law of vibration really sits almost above the law of attraction, because the law of attraction is explained by the law of vibration. You attract what you vibrate with, what you resonate with. But a lot of people use them, interchangeably, which is absolutely fine. But one of the things I'd like to discuss next, and let us know in the chat what you think about this, everyone, is a lot of people will blame their vibration being lowered on external events. It's one of the key things we see happen with humans a lot. And we all know that our emotions, our thoughts, our physical state, the state of our body, all of this are all mingling together to create our vibration. And our vibration can change many times in one day. It's not like you achieve a tick list on the vibrational scale and then you've got that for life, is it, Chanti?
Not at all. And in fact, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. Because we've been taught to look external to ourselves. I mean, how often don't we go, oh, that person sucks my energy. That person is not good for my Zen, or whatever it might be. I mean, I hear people say this all the time. Well, you know, I want to say this to everyone. You are the point of your attraction. You and you alone. And whatever your feelings and your emotions are like the fuel. They're like the fuel, right? And your thoughts, your IQ and your EQ are going to be talking to each other, right? So your thoughts and your emotions, that which comes from within you, radiates, permeates out of you like rays. Now, these rays are invisible, and like a magnet, right? You have this invisible energy field that surrounds you, that comes from within you. And that therefore attracts or rejects, or repels rather. Rejects or repels, pretty much the same thing. So when you are surrounded by negativity and negative people, you are the one that's attracted them into your orb. It's that simple. When your body is sick and when you're full of illness and all sorts of things, it's you that has brought that to yourself. If you are constantly feeling miserable and always talking about how much pain you're in and how sore your back is and how terrible life is and how this, all of that talk lowers your frequency. Yes, there are times where we do have these discussions, but we've got to be very careful as to in what context we're having these discussions, because these discussions can absolutely, if you're having therapy with someone, or you're sitting and you're having a healthy conversation about the shortfalls in your life, you do it in a healthy way. That means you're actually shedding your skin. You're doing so with the intention of changing it, right? You're not sitting there gossiping with malicious intention. Intention is everything, I'll tell you that much. So we can have these discussions, and we can have painful discussions or unpleasant discussions, whatever it is, but with the intention of changing it. And we always have to look at what in me has created this, what in me has brought this to me. And that's what we talk, A, projection, because it's our projection, and B, the mirror. So the person that you're dealing with, or the situation you're dealing with, would be your mirror. So when you're looking in the mirror, do you smash the mirror because you don't like the face looking back at you? Or do you actually say, well, you got a blemish on your face, your face needs to be washed, your eyes are looking a bit puffy, whatever, you're evaluating what you're seeing in the mirror. Now we've got to take that in an external context as well, where we actually looking at other people and saying the very thing I'm not liking in you is what I need to heal inside of me. So if you keep attracting people who betray you, who lie to you, who deceive you, the question is, it all comes back to me. And so the question I would ask myself then is, where have you lied to yourself, Chantal? Where have you deceived yourself, Chantal? Where have you decided that this is the best that life has to offer you, Chantal? Because that is an invitation actually to do shadow work. That's what the shadow work is about.
Yeah, I love it. And I love what Kevin's saying as well. If you're smiling happy, it makes others happy. It really does. It's contagious. And we all know if we're in an emergency situation, we want people who can control their emotions and be calm in that. So one of the things I love when we're looking about the law of vibration and the law of attraction is I love the link to the subconscious mind. And I think we all have learned so much over the course of all our work, inner work, outer work, listening, applying, about the link between our subconscious mind, the subconscious programs that we pick up, particularly when we're very young, that we're not necessarily aware of. But I love the way Bruce Lipton explains it, is the fact that if you want to know where your subconscious programs are out of alignment, then just look at the areas of your life that you're not happy with, and that will tell you straight away. So we don't need to over postulate this and sort of come up with all these exotic reasons for why things might not be going on. So with all of us, because this is a work in progress for all of us, I think awareness, Chantal, is really, really important. Being really honest assessment of where you are now, and why that might be. What tips have you got for people about how they can really have that self-awareness without beating themselves up?
Well, I think you've said it quite accurately, Catherine. It's really just about looking at the areas in your life that you are not feeling good in, that are feeling glum and stuck. And that's where it really comes. We've got to be honest with ourselves. That's where I would say it's so important to do your power hour in the morning, as I call it, or your power a half hour. For me, it's just a power hour, right? Sit with your journal, sit down with yourself, write down. My boss irritates me because I hate being told what to do. And then you can start relating that back to other areas where you realize, well, maybe I don't like authority. Maybe I don't like to be told what to do. And that might be an opportunity for you to say, okay, what is this about me that I don't like to buckle down and be told what to do? Maybe that's an opportunity now to start your own business. It could lead to all sorts of things, right? But the bottom line is sit with yourself, ask yourself the hard questions, the tough questions. If you've been in relationships, whether it's romantic relationships, family relationships, friendships, business, whatever, where let's say you're constantly being lied to or deceived, then I would say very honestly, where have I lied to me? Where am I living a life that is not in my truth? Doesn't mean I'm a liar to others. It's not that much of a duplicate, but it's certainly maybe I'm not being true to myself. That means maybe I say no when I should be saying yes, say yes when I should be saying no, right? So it's all of these things. You got to look at yourself. And then the most important thing is the willingness to change, right? And then discipline yourself and take action in those areas. The only thing that's going to change that and raise your frequency is when you actually take action to change the things in your life that you're not enjoying. It's that simple.
I love it. And we're getting some lovely, comments in there. And I think some really good points here about, I use this all the time. And the reason why certain sayings stick out to certain one of us is this resonates with me deeply. So whenever I'm feeling a reaction, I remember the Wayne Dyer, if you squeeze an orange, only orange juice can come out. Bryce and I were talking about this yesterday, because we're in a culture now where there's such a blame culture. That it's so easy to react negatively and so much more anonymously online than it is to actually take the consequences face to face. So it almost can perpetuate this whingy personality of self-pity. But one thing I love most about the law of vibration is it's always reflecting back to us, always. And it can also change so quickly when you change it. So one of the things absolutely. I love to realize is that our brain is just a tool. The brain doesn't create the thoughts. The brain is just processing the thoughts. So like when you used to, right. I don't know how many people in the chat resonates with this, but if you were some stages when I was growing up, if you were looking at making a tricky decision in your life, quite often people would say, well, make one list on one side of the paper, which is all the positives, and one list on the other side of the paper, which is all the negatives. And quite often, if something in life is looking a circumstance, something's happened to you, your car's broken down, you've been diagnosed with something, something awful's come into your awareness, sometimes our immediate reaction for a lot of us humans is to react on the negative side of things. And we see this so much at the moment. So that's where this process comes in. It's sort of sometimes, okay, we'll get the negative out, like you said, and then look at how you can rewire it into the positive. So, okay, my car, someone's just smashed into my car. What could possibly be the positive behind this? And keep going until you come up with something. And if you get stuck, let's use the AI that we all are in so much uproar about to reprogram it. Because if we're putting down in writing negative things, that's what we're going to attract back to us, more of that. And the AI program will make that. So ask the AI to rewrite it for you into a positive, use it positively, and let's use our law of vibration to program some of these tools in humanity's favor, perhaps.
Exactly, because I think, when we start deciding, that for me is the first step. It's a decision. And many people are so stuck in the lower rung frequencies that they don't even know they're there. They don't even know that they themselves can get out of it. They're looking for a hero to save them. They're looking for somebody. I mean, this is why you find, like, just let's look at romantic relationships. Women will very often go for men with money. And I'd say, well, why is that? Because we're living in the day and age now where you are capable of earning your own money. Is there something in you, perhaps, that feels you're not capable of getting that in your own way? And that's just one small example. But there would be also things like we have to look at, for example, our diet. I mean, let's look at the things that keep us in a lower rung vibration. Negative thinking, gossiping, insulting and fighting, anger, worry, fear, constantly having these things, eating badly. Your diet is so important. Yes, absolutely. So stuff like that. Yeah. So stuff like that. And then how do we change that? Well, we change it by choosing to, let's say, make a point of going out today and giving someone a heartfelt compliment. If you're going to the grocery store and you're at the checkout counter, and I'll go, okay, I'm there. And I love going to one or two girls because they're always smiling. And I'll say to them, I come to you because you're always smiling. And I'll give them a decent tip. I mean, most people don't tip the grocery, when you're going to your local grocery store. I'll tip her and the girl that packs my groceries in the bag, and I give them a really decent tip. So for me, I mean, like, in fact, now earlier on, I was out running a few errands, and I only had 100 Rand note in my bag, in my wallet. And there was a guy at the lights, and he was on a crutch, and he only had one leg. And I went, damn, I wish I had some change for him. And I said, but you got $100. Give it to him. Like, is $100 going to break your bank? No. So I hauled out $100 and I said, there you go, my friend. The guy I thought he was going to faint. I thought he was going to fall off his crutch. Seriously. He was so good. I don't think anyone has ever given him $100 in his entire life. I mean, $100 is like $100, right? But it was actually so amazing for me to see the joy in his face. And I was like wondering, what is he actually going to do with that money? Like, how is he going to enjoy spending it? And I spent the next few minutes wondering about how he was going to enjoy spending his money. And I said, you know what, if I was him, I wouldn't buy groceries. I wouldn't buy electricity. I wouldn't buy whatever the necessary things are that he probably needs. I go and buy myself chocolates or something that he can really enjoy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you have the ability to make someone's life better in the smallest way, whether it's giving them a compliment, whether it's giving them a ride in your car somewhere, whether it's just helping someone, an old person, push their trolley, I don't know, whatever it might be for you, that in itself not only serves the other person, but it raises your vibration and your frequency as well. You feel good about doing something. It's a natural thing, because naturally we are created from love. So it's not, when we do acts of love, it automatically raises our frequency. We don't have to try and read about it and study it. No, just act on the things that you naturally feel. I mean, if you're in a state where your body is in a really bad, you eating badly, and decide to change your diet. Doesn't have to be overnight, right? Drink water. Instead of drinking 4 liters of Coca-Cola a day, drink 2 liters of water. Instead of eating 10 slices of bread a day, have 4. You don't have to starve yourself of anything, but start weaning and start feeling what a difference that makes. When your body is not in a healthy, happy state, if it's sluggish and slow because of your diet, oh boy, I think we all know how bad that feels. So start with the things that are doable. Decision is so important. When you make a decision to start changing things and you stick to that decision. Doesn't mean if you fall off the wagon from time to time, just get back on again, That for me is so important.
It's such an important point, and I'm loving the interaction and the support and everything in the chat. And this is what I mean. It's contagious. You're all walking examples of that in the chat, that when someone sets off a positive trail of conversation or actions, naturally people follow that. If someone does a negative one, you've only got to see that on social media. One person puts something horrible and then it's like a floodgate. But the same goes with something positive. One person puts something really positive and it's like a floodgate. And this is what is so wonderful when we look at it. I mean, yesterday, my biggest treat of the day was giving some bananas to the wild pheasants that were really hungry, and they just loved them. And nature, there's wisdom. Why we talk about gratitude, why we talk about getting out in nature, why we talk about grounding, why we talk about controlling our breathing, because nature is in a natural vibrational state of harmony when humans haven't interrupted it too much. So if you want to get yourself back into harmony, because we're all going to be knocked off by different things on different times. And, if we're feeling unwell, we might be more easily knocked off our vibrational perch than others. But this is why some of these practices that people might poo-poo as too obvious, even smelling lavender essential oils have got a really high vibrational frequency if they're pure. So are flowers, music, all these things that seem too simple to make a difference are the things that really do make a difference. So I think finding what works for you and incorporating that into your life is really key if you're really going to look at manifesting, changing your reality, and which will then in turn change the reality of those around you. So quite a few people saying that music sort of really helps them. So in terms of, when you're looking at making choices, we know it is a fact that you cannot be in a positive and negative state at the same time. You're making a choice.
Right.
So there is this pause between information coming into you and reaction. And as the more aware and the more inner work we do, hopefully the bigger that pause gets. Because put your hand up or say something in the chat if you've been in that situation where you've reacted too quickly and then regretted it and repented it at leisure.
Yeah. No way.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say that, and this is what I love about my style of yoga that I teach, the Hatha yoga, right? And between the whole concept of yoga, if you will, is what happens on the mat is kind of synonymous with what happens off the mat. So on the mat, you're teaching yourself how to be equanimous. You're teaching yourself patience. You're teaching yourself balance. You're teaching yourself strength, because through all the postures and things that you're doing, that's what it brings in. It's a mindset, always mind over matter. And also, so between each round of postures, you take a shavasana, which is you lie down in what it's called a direct translation is corpse pose. And that is really the space between events, or the space between thoughts, or the space between actions. So the whole thing is, do we react or do we respond? Reaction is, hey, I promise you, that's been my nemesis in life. has been the fact that I have been very reactive. And I've really, as I've gotten older, had to teach myself more and more, just breathe. You don't have to murder this person yet. But it's amazing, actually. So the more you actually teach yourself how to just breathe, count to 5, count to 10 before you respond, write things down, let's say, and you know what I find incredibly helpful for those who have the same situation about reacting, is at nighttime when I will often reflect upon my day and I'll go, gosh, that was a bad situation that happened today. I'm embarrassed that I spoke to that person like that, and I want to cringe. I'll take my journal and I'll write down the conversation, and I'll actually force myself to write it down. And it's very uncomfortable, because when you're writing things down, they actually become real. That's the truth of the matter. And that's why journaling is so powerful. So then what I will do is I will then say, okay, in the perfect situation, how would I have liked to have played this thing out? What would I do if that opportunity came again? And then I'll actually write down the way I would like to respond if that situation came again. And you know how brilliant that is, because that kind of maps out the pathway in your brain. So you then become conscious of what it would be like to do things differently in the future. Because the whole thing is about learning from the past, right? And then doing things differently in the future. So how do I want to do things differently? And by actually saying, I don't choose that for myself, but I do choose this, means that, and I promise you you're going to get tested again. I promise you will. I promise you. Because life teaches us, right? Life is going to test you until you overcome that challenge that you've clearly come here to overcome. And then you can go, take a breath. I mean, I got a speeding ticket not so long ago from a traffic cop, and I was like, nah. And I said, well, what am I supposed to do in this situation? Just tell me, He said, man, you need to be patient. I was like, okay. That was all I needed to know. That taught me a very valuable lesson. But every time I drive now, I understand I need to be patient, because I can be reaction and impatience. Oh boy. It's the same thing, isn't it? Really, just in a different way. So it really does. Yeah.
I think, this is where it's really, really important for people to pick something. We're all of the audience here, and I'm loving the love for the animals in here as well, it is about, once you really take that self-accountability and realize that most of this is a choice, that we can choose how we react to whatever is in our awareness, and choose whether we're going to shift the vibration upwards or downwards, because our reactions will do that really, really quickly and then bring more of the positive or negative into it. So what I would love to do is have a little experiment with everyone who's watching this, either watching it live or afterwards, to sort of say, right, one of the things that the law of vibration very clearly shows is that you need to know where you're at. You need self-awareness, and you need to have some really clear targets or goals, whatever you want to do. And by clear, I mean really clear. So let's take an obvious one, money. A lot of people would like more money, not necessarily because they believe money will buy them happiness, but because money might relieve some stresses in their lives, for example. But if you're going to attract more money into your life, you have to be really clear about what that looks like for you. So set a real target. And let me know in the chat, who's heard of Bob Proctor? Bob Proctor is amazing, because he takes very complex universal laws and puts them into really simple language. I love Bob Proctor, and he's really popped up into my awareness again, and there's no accident for that. So one of the things I would like us to do as a collective group, and we can report back on this perhaps over the next 4 weeks, you can choose to share them or you can choose not to share them. But if each and every one of us put one clear, real goal. And you're very right. We don't say I want. We have to sort of say, because want is in the future. So write something down, a really clear target, something like, I have X thousand pounds in my bank account at all times. Yeah, would be an example. You can do it for any aspect of your life. It might be,
Yeah.
I have chickens in my life. Don't tell my husband. But you know, it can be literally anything that's for you. But it set a really clear goal, and then if each of us set a really clear goal, and every morning and every evening you get out that bit of paper that your goal's written on, you look at it and you feel what it's like to have that in your life. Who's up for that challenge? Let us know.
Absolutely.
What do you think,
Yeah,
Chanti?
that's great. I think that's wonderful because, yeah, manifesting, you know, that's part of, you know, we are, as human beings, we are creative geniuses, and we are here to create and to manifest. You know, we're manifesting every second of the day, but most of us aren't aware that we ourselves, I mean, getting up in the morning, having a cup of coffee, that's you manifesting your coffee. You waking up with your partner every day, you've manifested that. That's your manifestation. But if you're manifesting things that you're not enjoying, then it's important that you can consciously go and kind of like undo the patterning that you've created around that and repattern that thought. It really is just about repatterning things. So when you can repattern and say, and as you say, I am, it's already there. But more than just saying it or the visual, what the trick is to feel it. Remember, your emotions are your fuel. So what you need to do alongside that is, let's say we're talking about money. Think about a time that you got a surprise money, whether it was given to you as a gift or whether you got a bonus from work or whether you picked up money on the field. That feeling of, whoa, the feeling matched with the picture is what gets you what you want. The feeling is super important. So get that excited feeling as if it's already done. Think about the time when you already had that done or when it happened in a previous time. So take that memory, that picture, and match it to what you want now. I'm so grateful I have $10,000 in my account. Oh boy. And just laugh at the idea of what it felt like. I mean, there are times, honestly, when I've done that. I mean, I needed 30,000 Rand within 2 days. And I was like, where am I going to get this 30 grand in 2 days, right? That day, between that, it was, I think, 12 hours. I then had 6 clients make appointments with me and book workshops and sessions that was just about double that. And I just sat there and I laughed. I said, thank you, God, this is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that I should worry about this, right? Because it's already there. So when you believe it's already there, it's already done, it's done, it's done, it's done.
And you start living
there. And instead of, I want,
yeah, you've got to, exactly. If you really believe it, you'll know, because your actions and behaviors will change. So I would love, just as we pull this to close, Shannon, if you're open to it, are you happy if we help you rephrase this into something that might work better for you? Because I've put your comment up on here, because this is really, really common how we humans phrase it. So Shannon's saying, I want my baby daddy to stop running from child support. So you've got a negative here. You're wanting someone to stop doing something. So I would love it if you're open to it, if you're happy for us to do that, Shannon. Yes, she said yes. So Chanti, can we just work with Shannon for this? So the first thing I would say is, when you're looking at the law of vibration, if your focus is on what you don't want, then you're going to get more of that. And if your focus is on someone else changing, it's not going to work. So my first suggestion for you, Shannon, would be, what is it you are wanting? what will this give you when you have an abundance of money for you and your child? Add to that for us, Chanti.
Well, I would just say as well, again, let's look at the feeling as well as the picture. I'm so happy and so grateful. My baby daddy has decided to pay child support. Wow, what a beautiful feeling. I'm so happy and so grateful he's coming to the table. I'm so happy and so grateful he's taking care of his child. I'm so happy and so grateful. It is done. It is done. It is done. It is done. And then hand it over to God. Let go and let God. And honestly, that letting go, it's like sitting in a restaurant, ordering a meal. How many of us, when we're sitting in a restaurant, we order a meal, run off to the waitron and rush to the chef and insist that the chef do it like this? And you did it. You don't do that, do you? No. You put in your order and you then already decide and you trust that your meal is going to come back to you within half an hour or an hour, and the way you've ordered it. And that's your expectation, and that's what you get, right? Sometimes it gets cocked up, yes. And then you send it back, but invariably you're going to get it sorted out. It's the same concept. Let go and let God. And maybe, when you let it go, it might be that he disappears and you'll never see him again. But maybe you meet somebody else who's prepared to look after your baby, a beautiful man that comes in. I don't know, I'm just giving examples here. Or you get a windfall that you don't need him to take care of the child. It's just, I'm so happy that my child is taken care of. I'm so grateful. Thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When you're looking at gratitude, you've always got to be grateful and appreciative for what you already have. Start with the things. Start being grateful for the things that you have. Thank you for the roof I have over my head. Thank you for my 10 flexible fingers. Thank you for my eyes that see. Thank you for my ears that hear. Thank you for the beautiful people in my life. Thank you for this beautiful child that I have. Thank you that he has clothes. Thank you that he has food. These are the things. Let go of expectation from somebody else. It's not going to work that way. But understand that you are enough. You are enough. You always have been and you always will be. You have the capacity to take care of your child on your own. I tell you, my son, I was a single mother, and I'm going back to many, many moons ago. And in this country, I promise you, there were few single mothers around at the time. And it wasn't a fashionable thing to be a single mother. I chose to divorce my ex. I chose to wing it on my own. He was not ever, I think there was one occasion in our nearly 40 years, he's passed away now, that I got child support from him. But I was so grateful that I did not need his child support, because I kept saying, I don't need your child support. It gave me free rein to take him where I wanted to take him, get him a passport. He wasn't in the child's life. He was not. And yet when he came back, and many a time he came back, I never, ever stopped him from seeing my son. My son decided at a certain stage, he chose, when he understood what his father was up to, he made the decision not to see his father on his own accord. I had nothing to do with that. But I never, ever stopped him from seeing his son. Obviously, if he was abusive or a drug addict or something, he was none of those things. He was just not a responsible father. But he loved his son. I do know that. And his son loved him very, very much. He just didn't know how to be responsible. So in that way, that's what I'm saying. Have no expectation, but trust that you are taken care of, and trust that your child is taken care of. And I promise you, there was this beautiful community of people that took care of my son with me. My parents, my siblings, my friends, everyone loved him and everyone took care of him. It was a beautiful experience.
I love it. And I would say, so one of the key things, and this ties into this, Shannon, about the law of vibration, is it can never, ever be about someone else. As soon as you make the law of vibration about someone else and what someone else needs to do, it's not going to work for you. So always about you and how you want to feel and what you want to attract into your life and how you're going to show up differently to attract exactly what you want. And this is for all of us. So it's really great because this is where sort of going back to sometimes when we write down what we do want, we can, bear in mind, we can rewrite that statement as often as we like. It's not like we get it and we've got to stick with it. We can rewrite that as many times and it will keep just getting better and better and better as we shift into it. And I have to do this many, many times. Often I start off and I think, oh, I've written that in the negative. Let me change that. And then I'll get a bit better and I'll get a bit better. So I think we can all really collectively help each other with this. So my challenge to everyone is each and every one of us, you don't have to share it, but you can come back next week. We'll be on Chanti's channel if you want to give us an update. Is basically every single person, think of something that you want to shift in the vibration of your life. Make a really clear goal and then focus on that goal morning and evening or as many times a day as you need to and see what happens. You'll be amazed.
And I think next week we'll continue this discussion on my channel as well. We can talk about the law of attraction. We can talk about the law of correspondence. There are so many beautiful laws we can actually talk about. And so join Catherine and myself on Solutions with Aquarius Rising Africa next week at the same time. And we will continue. And yes, I'd love to hear some of your stories. And, you know, it's really just about trust and faith. You know, it's honestly, that's what it's about. In whatever religion or faith or whatever it is that you believe in, you have to have faith and you have to have belief that God or Jesus or Buddha or whoever it is delivering. But they cannot deliver unless you are open to receiving. And you can only be open to receiving when you realize you are worthy of receiving.
Yeah,
really,
because when you really step into that vibration, I promise you'll start taking different actions each day. So a couple of things in there. It's so great that people are putting this in there. I'll share mine in the comments below when I finish this because my typing will be atrocious if I do it now. But remember not to use the word can either, because can means there's a choice, but it doesn't mean you're doing it. So just scrub the can out and that sentence is perfect. And so let's see, it's so fascinating when we make this commitment to ourselves, and this is to us and the universe, an agreement between us and the universe, to see what different daily actions we start taking as a result. So I'm really excited to hear from everyone. Thank you so much for your contribution, everyone. You've been brilliant as always. Such a positive audience. You're all absolutely amazing. Any final words from you, Chanti?
You know, guys, and I want to say thank you as well. I know I recognize a lot of you from my channels as well. So thank you. It's always so, if you will, in these sessions. It's just so beautiful to have you here. I really enjoy our Friday chats for sure. And just, you know, the whole thing is stop trying.
Yeah.
The minute we try, we create a resistance. It's just stepping back, and it's not for some people it can happen overnight, but just relax and breathe and be at ease. That's when things come to you, when you stop fighting, when you stop arguing, when you stop having this fight in your head. Just then watch what starts happening. There's nothing that you have to do. It's more what you need to stop doing. That makes the difference.
Love it. Thank you so much, everyone. Come and join us next week on Solutions with Aquarius Rising, and we'll continue this lovely conversation. Have a brilliant, brilliant week, everyone. Thank you, Chanti. Bye.